right, we will now start the session. Thank you so much for waiting. We experienced, as I mentioned earlier, we experienced some technical issues, but that's actually also the topic for today, technology, STEM, engineering in the US. I promise you this was not planned, but maybe it's a coincidence, it's today's topic. But before we discuss that, my name is Shanaz. I would like to thank you for joining this session. I work for UpGrad Abroad as the University Partnerships Manager. And as you can see, I am not alone. I am here with Ryan Warner, who is the Director of the Center for International Programs and Activities at Shawnee State University. We also have here Dr. Paul Madden, Dean Professional Studies at Shawnee State University. And last, but definitely not least, Adam Miller, Chairperson and Associate Professor for the Department of Engineering Technologies at Shawnee State University. Maybe you would like to wave. Can you see us? Yes? All right, we cannot hear you as of now. Adam, you are on mute. Yes.
Hear us?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. So, as I mentioned, we have three great panel members supporting today's session about engineering, technology, STEM courses in the US. We will be discussing Shawnee State University in a second. Yes, actually, the floor is yours. You can start the presentation.
Good morning. Good morning. Good evening. On behalf of President Bauer and the Provost and Vice President for Academic and Student Affairs, I welcome you to this visit to Shawnee State University. I appreciate your time that you've taken out of your day to learn more about Shawnee State University and the programs that we offer here. And we're looking forward to developing a strong partnership with our friends and colleagues from your area. And we look forward to sharing some information about the programs that we have to offer, and just talk a little bit about some of the characteristics and opportunities for studying in the United States, but even more specifically, Shawnee State University. Mr. Warner will talk a little bit about the university and about some of the issues that pertain specifically to our international students. And Mr. Miller will discuss some of the programming areas specifically, and then we'll take questions and have an opportunity to hear from you and to learn more about what's on your mind and how we can help you to be successful for those of you who choose to come to Shawnee State University and advance your education. So again, welcome. Ryan and Adam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Ryan Warner. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. My name is Ryan Warner. I'm the Director of International Programs here at Shawnee State. I've been here now for 7 years. I'm a graduate of this institution, so it's an honor to represent our institution on the international level. And we've been working now with UpGrad to establish a partnership since this past summer. So it's been an ongoing bilateral partnership, and it's exciting that it's come to fruition now. And we're ready to receive students from UpGrad and add to our international population. So to get started here, so we are a public institution in the state of Ohio of about 3,000 students. We currently have around 70 international students. And we are in the process of increasing our international enrollment. We have I'm going to move a little bit closer just so I can see here our mission, which is to prepare today's students to succeed in tomorrow's world. This was established by the people of the university to ensure that not only are we providing an excellent academic opportunity for our students, but to also ensure that our students have go directly into a career path and employment. We're just having some additional technical issues here, so just one second. Can you see where we are on the? Can you see where we are on the screen?
Yes, the first slide, I believe.
Okay. It's not moving on our end, so that's fine. So, as a public institution, we are solely based on providing an accessible, best value institution with high quality degrees, affordable tuition, and make sure that we are a student focused service for all of our international students who attend. Currently, we are ranked one of the best colleges in the Midwest. As I mentioned before, we have about 3,000 students. We have a 15-to-1 student to teacher ratio. So when you come to our institution, you are going to get almost a one-on-one interaction with your professor in your program. All of our housing on campus is apartment style, so we do not do traditional dormitories that maybe you see in the movies. So students will have kitchens, living area. They share usually an apartment with 4 people. So all of it is apartment style where you can do your own cooking. A lot of our international students like to do that as opposed to being stricken to just going to the cafeteria to eat all the time. And so we have over 50 clubs, organizations, including an international student organization with all of our international students on campus. So we are a very active community with our international students. Some of the student support that we provide to our international students, free tutoring in your classes. We do have a math center, a writing center, academic advising, accessibility services, and top state-of-the-art computer labs. We do have student activities organizations that are a student government association. We have a student programming board, fraternity, sorority life, and diversity inclusion organizations. If you're interested in applying to our institution, so as an international student, what you're seeing on the screen isn't necessarily pertaining to what we're going to talk about in our computer engineering technology and engineering programs. However, as international students, we have deadlines. If you are looking for a fall intake, so if you want to start in August of, for example, 2023, your deadline would be June 1st of 2023, so this coming June. If you're going to apply for a spring intake, which you would be looking at for spring 24, would be November 1st of 2023. We offer what we call the Shawnee Advantage, tuition advantage. This is actually something that is an excellent resource for our international students. As you know, the costs every year of college tuition and prices go up each year. However, we have created a program which we call the Shawnee Advantage, where when you attend Shawnee State University in your first year, whatever the tuition is set at your first year, regardless of a price increase, you are guaranteed that price when you started for 4 years. So you are locked in, as we say, to that cost for 4 years. So any sort of university increase, tuition increase, if there's any sort of percentage addition to tuition or fees, you will be locked in to what you started your first year. We'll speak a little bit more to scholarships in the future, but I did want to touch base here on some of the scholarships that we do offer. So I'm sure this will come up in the Q&A for students regarding any scholarships that we have. The international programs that I oversee, we do offer specific GPA-based scholarships for international students, including every international applicant that attends the university, we give a $2,500 scholarship to. What you see on the screen right now is our university matrix for GPA and ACT or SAT based scholarships. So you will be able to look at your GPA that you would have converted from UpGrad or another GPA based transcript evaluation agency, and compare that to what your ACT or SAT score is, and you can find what you would qualify for out of the gate for scholarship money to the institution. We can stack scholarships. So for example, what you're seeing on the screen, if you got a $4,500 achievement award, you would also qualify for our free $2,500 scholarship for being an international student and any other GPA-based scholarship from the international office. So, as I mentioned before, all apartment style housing, I've kind of already touched on this, but just briefly so you can see, all students will be given a full kitchen, living room. All of our apartments are furnished, so students are move-in ready. All of our apartments are move-in ready for our students. After we do pickups at the airport, you'll move right into your apartment on campus. All international students who attend will be given a new student orientation upon arrival. So we will have one day where we go through everything in terms of student life, banking, registration, academic advising. You will go through a comprehensive new international student orientation. As you see on the screen where it talks about a $50 deposit, that's only for the American students. That is not for the international students. So that is a waived fee. Don't worry about that. But we do want to ensure that all of our international students, when they arrive to campus, they're comfortable, they feel like they're ready for their classes, and we do go through this comprehensive new student orientation. During orientation, you will get your student ID. It says you'll pick your class schedule. We actually pre-register all of our international students before they even get to campus. So once you've been admitted, you've received your visa, your F1 visa to come study, you actually will work directly with your academic advisor online to pre-register for all your classes before you get here. But during orientation, we will also have you meet the faculty, academic advisors in person. And we, as I mentioned before, go through everything it entails to be a Shawnee State Bear. These are some of our social media platforms that you can stay connected with us. But the best resource is to contact me directly, and I'll provide my contact information in a bit. So you have my personal information, and you can reach out and ask any specific questions you want after this presentation. At this time, we'll move into the engineering part, the part that all of the students are here to hear about, and I will turn this over to Adam Miller.
Thank you, Ryan. So I'm Adam Miller. I'm the Department Chair of Engineering Technologies, as we previously talked about. So I'll give just a general introduction to our departments, and then dive a little bit more deeply into sort of what everyone's here, I think, is for the Computer Engineering Technology program. But our department really consists of several technology-related programs. So we have the Computer Engineering Technology. We have a digital simulation and gaming program, which actually shares half of its coursework with the Computer Engineering Technology program. So we have a lot of students that we have some students that double major in both of those. We have plastics engineering technology, information security, and I'll mention here in a minute as well. We do have a minor in information security, so there are some students that are interested in taking both some of our more hardware and software intensive courses in computer engineering technology, but also want to get a little bit more of that information security or cybersecurity flavor. So we offer that as well. We've got electromechanical engineering technology and computer-aided drafting and design as well. So So we've got a variety of programs within the departments. And so within the department, because we have all those, that wide breadth of courses that we offer, there are a lot of different types of minors that compare with that. So I think for the computer engineering technology program, and that major in particular, the most common minors that we see with that are typically cybersecurity and game programming. So the cybersecurity is a relatively new minor for us, but it has proven to be widely successful thus far, and pairs well with a couple of our other majors. And then of course we've got the game programming minor. We're nationally ranked in that program, and again, that really grew out of our computer engineering technology program. So I always consider that really and they share half of the courses with the computer engineering technology program. They just don't go into the computer hardware side of things like the computer engineering program does. So there are a lot of opportunities within the department to really specialize your education. So in terms of our department, we really have a lot of different types of programs, as you've just seen, but we really pride ourselves on looking at the hands-on or applied experiences to go along with the theoretical applications or the theoretical concepts that are introduced in the classroom. So nearly all of our courses in the department, including the computer engineering technology program, really have a lecture component plus a hands-on component. So that looks different depending on which major we're looking at in particular. But if we're looking at the CET degree, the computer engineering technology degree, that degree, there's all the courses are held in either computer classrooms or electronics classrooms. And so with those, you'll learn some different programming theories or some different DC circuits, AC circuits, advanced circuit analysis, digital controls, things like that. You'll learn all of those different concepts or theories, and then pair those with a hands-on experience in the lab. So what our employers really seek out of our graduates, and why they seek our graduates, is really the fact that our students are ready to go to work. They've not only learned some of the theories in the classroom, but they've actually had the opportunity through hands-on labs or other types of experiences to be able to actually gain some of those skills and be able to talk about some of those skills or display some of those skills in a job interview, or and really adapt to the working environment very quickly. So so that's essentially what we pride ourselves in being, and what we offer our students here at Shawnee within the department and within the computer engineering technology program. So for the computer engineering technology program, we really look at a blend of it's computer science and computer engineering, really. So we have the fundamentals, the theory and application that I've talked about, but it's a blend of hardware and software. So we'll take a look at the courses in a moment, but sort of our mantra, I guess you might say, is learn, design, build. So you would learn, our students learn the ability to build electronics or understand how electronics work, but also be able to program them to do something. So it's a unique skill set to be able to understand some of those hardware components, and then understand some of the programming aspects to be able to go along with that. And so there's a capstone project in the program as well. In addition to the labs that we do, we have a capstone project where students actually go through the development of some sort of, it combines the circuits and circuit design with some of the different types of programming to be able to produce a product. We currently have just one semester of that, but we are actually moving to a 2-semester project next year to be able to have more emphasis on the project and be able to come up with, to have more time to be able to do more significant projects. Those are usually a very good opportunity to practice your skills and to sort of bring all those skills together, but it's a good opportunity to talk about your project with an employer as well after you've completed that. So I kind of touched on this a little bit already. So we do have small personalized classes. I think Ryan mentioned our, as a university, we have a good student to faculty ratio. And so our classroom size in the computer engineering technology program, we cap our courses at around 24 students. So the most you would have in a classroom within the major is 24 students. And so the professor to student engagement and interaction is something that we value as well. So that's something that your professor gets to know you, you build a rapport with your professor. Generally, your professor, because the class sizes are smaller, it builds a culture where everybody's comfortable asking those questions, and you can, outside of the classroom in the hallway, you know your professors. That helps whenever it's about relationships. And so whenever you go to a job interview or you're working for employment and you need to put a reference down on your resume, that professor has had you in small class sizes, they know you. So those types of relationships are really important whenever you move into your job search process. So I already mentioned the labs, and so for the sake of time, I think I'll skip over that a little bit there. But I want to just quickly sort of highlight the curriculum as well. So in the U.S., typically a third of your general education, or typically a third of your degree is general education. And so that's no different here. We've got the breakdown for our computer engineering technology program, a third of which is a general education, has a general education component. We have 58% is the technical courses. So that's going to be your electronics, your and a lot of the different types of programming courses that we have there within the program. And then there's some additional math and elective hours that we have designated for the program as well. So that's for the degree at the bachelor's degree level, and what that looks like. So in terms of the general education program, the state of Ohio requires that there are a certain number of general education requirements built into a degree. So general education at Shawnee State looks like this in terms of what the broad requirements are for the degree. So we have English, fine arts, science, literature, math, ethics. So engaged citizenry, human behavior, communication, history, first year experience, and global perspectives. So we have the general education program provides a breadth of knowledge across a lot of different disciplines, which can help provide a more well-rounded education. So that's part of the degree program that we have here. Through the UpGrad partnership, some of those would be satisfied by the time you get here. So we would have, these would be the remaining courses that you would take here on our campus once you arrive. So there would still be some general education courses that would need to be taken through the university after the partnership. As you can see, the requirements there would be, some of those requirements would be satisfied prior to coming here. And so technical courses in the major, we've got a variety of courses here. So I kind of referenced some of the courses already. So we have the circuits courses or electrical fundamentals. We've got a lot of programming courses. We've got algorithms. Essentially, it's a very sequenced program where you can learn a lot of these different types of programming frameworks or structures as you go through the program. And so some are a little bit more software focused, some are very hardware focused, and then some of them are a little bit of blending the two together. So microprocessor based systems, for example, or networking and communication are going to be looking at more of how those interface. And so there's a blend of those. And then we have the senior design lab capstone project that I mentioned. And so that is generally a couple semesters, or it's generally been one semester, but as I mentioned earlier, we're looking to bring that to 2 semesters so that we can have more advanced projects for our students to be able to undertake. And a lot of our students in that design lab project, they have the ability to, within certain limits, be able to choose what their project is. So students can basically come up with a project proposal and get that approved by the professor and have guidance from the professor to help complete that project. So it is a project-based course that that really you kind of get to drive it yourself a little bit. So you get to own it yourself and do your own projects, but then you have the guidance of the faculty member there. So just real quickly, everything that's highlighted in green are courses that would be satisfied through the UpGrad partnership before you come to Shawnee. So essentially, nearly half of the technical coursework that we're talking about for the program, that would already be, if you're in the UpGrad partnership, that would be satisfied by the time you came here to the States and studied at Shawnee. And so everything on the right that's not in green, those are going to be courses that you would take here with us. So, so wanted to give you a quick breakdown of what that might look like, and really what the partnership kind of looks like in terms of what's required once you get here. All right, so we have a variety of languages in the program. So some of the courses really don't focus. Some of the courses focus more on programming structure and maybe not as much on the language that's being used. But there are certain languages that are taught and used within the program more heavily than others. C++, C, Python, Java, and SQL are really the most popular, are the most common that we use within the program. C# is used a little bit as well for some of the programming content. So salaries and career outlook. The computer industry is a growing field everywhere, so I'm sure that's why most people are on the call this morning or this evening for you guys. It's a growing field. So in the U.S., the projected growth is greater than 10% for software developers here in the U.S. Really, with this degree, you're not limited to just software developers, but we have students that go into, or graduates that go into controls engineering or more on the hardware side of things. Most of our students probably go the software route, but we do have a lot that'll go controls engineering for different companies as well. And so the salaries, you can see there's some pretty wide ranges there for salaries. That really depends on the route that the students want to go. So there's a lot of different routes that students can go, and so those are different ranges depending on what their specific route is for their degree past Shawnee. So what I've done here is I've listed some different careers that these are career titles that our actual graduates have. So application developer, software engineer, data engineering manager, controls engineer, application operations engineer, process control engineer, embedded software engineer, hardware engineer, and IT director. So we really have students that go in a lot of different areas. As I mentioned earlier, probably a little bit more on the software side is where our students go, but we do have plenty that do the hardware side of things as well. GE Aviation, for instance, we've got a couple locations in Southern Ohio, not far from us, that do GE Aviation. So we've had some alumni go to each of those locations to be able to apply their skills. And some of those have been on the software side and some have been on controls engineering. And so just some additional resources on campus. We have Ryan's office that's here to support international students. We have a new Cricker Innovation Hub that will be opening here anytime. I think our grand opening ceremony is in March. And that is focused on our digital technologies. So those of you that are coming for computer engineering technology, that would be a resource if you're looking to start your own business and get involved, get engaged with industry. That's a new exciting thing for us, and we've got some federal funding to be able to support some of the activities that are going to be going on there. And so we're ready to roll all of that out in March. So we'll have a lot of support there. So we've got a lot of support for learning, libraries, labs. We have supplemental instructors for a lot of our classes. So in addition to having access to your faculty and small class sizes, we'll have students that have done well in the past become supplemental instructors. There's also the opportunity, if you're strong in a certain area, that you could become a supplemental instructor as well, which is a paid part-time position at the university for students that are here. So that kind of wraps up my portion of the presentation, or what I've prepared in advance. But is our questions next? I'll turn it back over to Ryan.
I actually have a question already. This is not my question. Actually, one of the participants asked about the prospects of civil engineering and the prospects of computational fluid dynamics. So what are the type of jobs that students would be able to do after completing a master's in, for example, mechanical engineering? And one of the persons is mostly interested in computational fluid dynamics. I believe we would be looking at jobs as in the field of automation, development, and instrumentation. But I believe you're the better person to answer this question.
Yeah, so I guess so that's a pretty broad question, I guess. So we have some students so our plastics program covers a little bit of fluid dynamics as it relates to polymers. And then we've had students go on to graduate school in mechanical engineering and focus on fluid dynamics in those areas. As it relates to some of our computer programs, I don't know that we've had people from the computer program go that route. We do have some fluid power courses here and some fluid dynamic courses related to plastics and polymer materials and how the material flows. And we've had some partnerships in the past where we've worked on simulations within the department. So we've had a project that was grant funded a while back where we worked on simulations of polymer materials, because we have a lot of that already in our labs and that expertise here, and working with sort of simulating how that might work using computer simulations. So there's software that exists out there for that, but we were working on sort of a little bit unique a niche in that area several years back with a grant project. I don't know if that answers the question or not. But.
I think it does. Am I correct in understanding that students would then be looking at material science, design, analysis, and the whole process of maintaining mechanical systems?
Right. So we do have probably another example. We do have some students that have gone on to GE Aviation and have worked on some of their control systems, or developed and worked through their controls engineering as well from the computer engineering technology program. And so they've looked at different types of sensors, and of course there's fluid dynamics in the aviation space as well. So to be honest, I'm not 100% sure if they've dipped into that, but I know that they're working in controls engineering on that side of things as well. But it's definitely something that our students have done in our plastics program that have gone on to mechanical engineering graduate school.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, so I'll pass to Ryan. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, we have a couple of other questions. One of them being, what is the main difference between computer science and computer engineering?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So that is going to probably depends on who you ask, but computer science is a little bit more software focused. So we actually often talk about our gaming program here as a computer science program focused on it's a computer science program focused on gaming. So we have a lot of those courses here, and a lot of those courses exist within the computer engineering technology program. The only difference with the computer engineering technology program from a computer science program is that we go a little bit more in depth on some of the hardware side of things. So doing some of the circuit design, printed circuit boards, one of our faculty members owns a business here in town. That it's a worldwide business, but he actually develops sensors. So he develops the electronic modules, and then he's able to program them, or he comes up with programs, firmware and different things like that to be able to make those sensors work for different applications. So to be able to do that type of work, so all the components within smartphones and any devices that we see on a daily basis really have to have both that electronic component and be able to do the programming to go along with that to make it work. So this program really goes into both of those spaces and really provides a background in both the hardware and software side of things.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, there's another question about what are the main courses one would have to do to become a game developer?
So on the gaming side, really, I'll go back to this slide here. So in terms of our computer engineering technology major, you really get a lot of the programming pieces that is a part of the gaming major as well. So that professor that I mentioned that has his business that produces sensors and programs those, he also, his degree is in computer engineering, but he also has done a lot of work in virtual reality and things like that as well. So his development, and he actually developed our computer engineering or our gaming degree out of the computer engineering degree. So all of these courses here, most of these courses really are in that program as well to be able to develop games. The difference is going to be the graphic component. So if you get more into graphics with the game programming, the rest of the programming is all a part of this program, the computer engineering technology program.
All right.
So
if you
came here for this program, you could take some of the gaming courses for a minor as well.
Okay. And then there seems to be quite some interest in mechanical engineering today. So there are a couple of questions about mechanical engineering. What are the opportunities for students upon graduation, and what are the courses that students would be, what are the type of modules that students would be undertaking while they study something like mechanical engineering in the United States more broadly? I believe that would be, as we mentioned already, like the fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, machinery, heat, mass, energy transfer, stuff like that. Students would often, but I would need your assistance on this. I believe a lot of students would be doing jobs as development engineers, instrumentation engineering, automation engineering. What is your stake? What is your view on this particular field of engineering and the prospects in the United States?
So it's kind of interesting. Whenever you go to work someplace, they'll have lots of different types of engineers doing lots of different types of things, working in the same engineering group. So for instance, you might go to, GE could be an example. They've hired some of our plastics engineering students, they've hired some computer engineering technology students, and they've hired electromechanical students. And so in some cases, those graduates may be doing all similar jobs, but they just have unique backgrounds that the company wants to bring those students together to accomplish whatever objective it is that they're working on. And so they're looking to get a diverse workforce that can provide different ideas and different solutions to the problems that they're having. So in terms of more of the mechanical side in particular, to be clear, our programs, we have the plastics engineering technology program, which has components of material science and mechanical, but focused on plastics. But those students, we had a company, Thermo Fisher Scientific, they've hired some of our plastic students, they've hired computer engineering technology students, and they've hired gaming students, and they all work together to be able to produce instrumentation and the software components that go along with that to be able to analyze materials in a facility or in a lab. So, the job prospects really in all these fields are in demand. It just, I think, depends on what your interest area is.
Yes, because what we can see in what we can see especially in the United States is the demand for STEM. You hear a lot about new emerging technologies, new courses related to any STEM discipline, right? And now sometimes it may be confusing for a student to decide which field they exactly want to pursue. We talk about sciences. We're talking about technologies, which can include basically anything from computer science and software engineering and data science. Artificial intelligence is also becoming very popular. We're talking about all the engineering, mechanical, electronics, civil, etc., mathematics. What would be your advice on students who just completed their high school diploma and would want to pursue a STEM discipline? What would be your advice on, or what would you suggest students should look into? What are the parameters they should look into when taking that sort of decision?
Yeah, so there are a lot of options out there. I think there's in terms of the different types of disciplines. I typically recommend looking at a lot of the different job descriptions that are out there and seeing what kind of job duties are appealing, and look at different types of growth statistics and things like that, but also where you can find the unique skill sets that are going to be able to get you there. So so there's multiple pathways there, but I think that there's to be able to get to those conclusions or get to those endpoints. But you want to be able to find something that's a good fit for you. So for us, we do that through small classrooms, professor-student interaction, and those types of things. So it is a more personal experience than some of the larger institutions. But being able to find, I guess to answer your question more directly, I think looking at different job descriptions and seeing what's out there and seeing what appeals to you and what your strengths would be. And a lot of the jobs or different disciplines that we're talking about, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of crossover. So,
yes.
There's going to be the computer engineering technology program that we're talking about right now, or that I've highlighted this morning or this evening for you guys. It's something that touches a lot of the different disciplines that we've talked about as well. So in today's society, this is how we interface with all of our objects and with a lot of the different pieces of equipment and different things throughout the manufacturing industry or public sector, regardless.
Yeah, there are quite a few similarities that these fields share in theory and in practice. Would you know what are some of the soft skills that this is a question from one of the participants? What are the soft skills that universities will be looking for when applying for example, an engineering program, computer engineering program?
Yeah, so in terms of soft skills, so that's part of what our general education program is for. So a lot of the courses that you take in the general education course or in the general education program, if I scroll back to that, some of those courses are going to be courses that are more technical supportive, like the science and math and things like that. But then there's going to be other courses that are built into that where when you come here, we would help develop some of those soft skills through some of the other courses that we have. Presentations are given in some of the technical courses as well. So the project course requires a presentation of the project. So I think whenever you come here, there's certain requirements that we have, I think, for international students that Ryan might be able to cover as a university. But generally, in terms of our program, the soft skills are really I guess, things that are embedded in the program, you'll get to build those when you come here. So it's working with doing presentations within your classes, but we also have student clubs. We've got the Innovation Center opening up. There's tons of opportunity to sort of practice those skills. Nobody's perfect at that whenever they start. I continually evolve in my my soft skills, which is a broad category. So
yes, but I think that's amazing because you study. I talk about this quite often, but students do definitely graduate with a degree in their field, but so much more than that by incorporating all these other modules in their course curriculum. Yeah, so that's really great. Thank you for answering that question. I'm a bit conscious of the time. We have a couple of more questions that students or prospective students would like to know about a bit more. Could you, I mean, we've discussed quite a lot about engineering and prospects and what could students look into when they want to take a certain decision when it comes to studying any of these disciplines. Would you know what are the more popular courses with Shawnee State University, and maybe also more broadly, what are the more popular courses in the United States? This field.
Yeah, so
yes.
in this field?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think the algorithms, the systems programming, compiler design, some of those different courses are some of the popular ones. Programmable logic, actually, one of the number one requests that we get, or from I guess depending on the industry, but from the manufacturing industry is probably more programmable logic controllers. So that's a good skill set to have, to be able to understand that. And so we also, it's not listed here, but we do have an artificial intelligence course that we offer in our department as well, which is could be a nice course to pair with the program to be able to advance that. And so, but really getting a lot of that programming foundation and being able to move that forward into different industries is popular, or is really popular. I think what is unique and I think is in demand that maybe not as many people get educated in is the ability to be able to look at the hardware piece, be able to understand the hardware, and be able to program that hardware to do something to make it function. And so I think that's an area that is a little bit more, it's an in-demand area that not as many people are going through the educational system to be able to get there. So the demand for those students is really great.
All right, thank you. Now, one of the other questions that we have is, maybe before we go to that question, I think you wanted to share a couple of more slides with us. Maybe we should do that first.
Actually, the last slide I had was this. So I think we
okay.
Gone back and forth a lot. So we did get to the last one.
Oh, all right, perfect. So in that case, one of the participants has a question about data analysts, and to be more specific, this person has an experience in data analysis already. What are the sort of courses that you would suggest students with a data analysis background could do?
Right. So we have some of the, I guess with the partnership that we've discussed, I think many of the data courses would already be completed prior to coming here. But that data is going to be, doing some of the other languages, looking at concurrency and automata and all those other types of programming structures. I think will advance more what you can do with the data analysis and that type of background. But we also have the cybersecurity minor that would that a lot of students are starting to pair with this degree, that provides additional skill set that looks at protecting the data. So so that could be an additional pathway to sort of pair with that if that's of interest.
All right, that's helpful. That definitely answers the question. And would you be able to share a bit more about the visa options that students have when they apply for a STEM degree?
I can.
Yep, I'm going to pass that to Ryan.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hello. Yeah. So in terms of the visa options, so as an international student, when you come to Shawnee State, you would be issued an F1 visa to come and study in the computer engineering or any of our engineering programs for that matter. During that time, some of the benefits of having an F1 visa as an international student during your studies, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security allows you to partake in what's called CPT, curricular practical training. That is basically an internship, paid or unpaid during your studies. So during that, if you come through our agreement, those 2 years, and as long as that internship is directly tied to your major, you can work off campus, and it can be remote as well. So you would be getting that internship pre-professional work experience on your F1 visa that is tied to your studies. After your studies, your F1 visa doesn't, even though it's for studies in a specific major, another benefit of that F1 visa is you can actually stay in the US and work on what we call optional practical training. The Department of Homeland Security allows work for 1 year, and it can be anywhere in the United States. It can be a full-time paid position in your field. We currently have 7 OPT students at Shawnee that are working in various other states across the United States, but they still report to me. And that is on their F1 study visa. So you would not need to change your visa. You can still work in the United States full-time, get paid, get benefits, etc. Now, another benefit of our program, computer engineering, technology, plastics, etc., is those fall under the STEM field. So the U.S. Department of State has created a work program that is called the STEM OPT. Okay, so that is built on top of the current OPT program, which is 1 year. The STEM extension is 2 years. So if you go on to get a position through one of our, after you graduate in engineering, you could actually work up to 3 years and still stay on the F1 visa that we issue you. Okay, so that is 3 years full-time work. It is a great way, as we say, to get job experience, but also it's a 3-year job interview, because we have had students who work with a specific employer. I'll give an example. We had a plastics engineering student who worked for Honda. He did the 3 years, and then he was offered an H-1B from that company after he was done with his OPT. Yes. So you can transition into that H-1B visa opportunity if the employer offers it. But on the F1 visa that you're given from us for your studies in the engineering field, you will get the opportunity to work for 3 years on that F1 visa.
All right, thank you. And based on that question, someone has a follow-up question. Can students apply for a green card while they are on this extended STEM OPT?
Yes, so you can actually apply for a green card at any point in time. There are various rules and regulations that you must follow, but you can definitely apply for a green card. I've had students do that. I have one who is currently on STEM OPT from our environmental engineering student, and they are in the process of applying for a green card. We usually outsource that to an immigration lawyer locally in our area that will assist with that process if you wish to do so. There's also the green card lottery that students usually enter into as well each year. So you can always, the United States government allows a lottery process where you can put your name in while you're here. And that would have no effect on your visa status while you're studying or working the F1 visa.
All right. And then we also have a slightly different question about the English language requirements.
Yeah, so for our institution, we do have set standards for English proficiency that we see as necessary to be academically successful in our programs. So we accept the TOEFL with a minimum score of 60 on the internet-based TOEFLs. We accept the IELTS, IELTS exam, which is also a 6.0 minimum score. But due to COVID, many testing centers, TOEFL and such, shut down during COVID, and they were not offering the test itself. So many schools transitioned to the online test of Duolingo. And we are accepting the Duolingo score where you can actually take that test from home. You do not need to go to a testing center. And they have online learning resources for English that you can take before you take your exam. And the minimum score for the Duolingo that we accept is a 100. So you would be able to take that right at home and provide that as a standard test score for entry and for admission.
All right, thank you. I believe we've covered all the questions. If you have any question that you would like an answer to, please make use of this opportunity and make use of the chat box, the Q&A chat box. And meanwhile, I'm also, of course, very pleased. We already covered it a bit, especially on this slide, the courses in green and the courses in blue. But very soon, UpGrad, in collaboration with Shawnee State University, we will be launching a collaborative pathway where some of the initial work can be done in India, after which you then transfer to Shawnee State University for on-campus, for the on-campus part of the program, where you'll be focusing on these courses that are listed here on the right, while you get the waivers for the courses mentioned on the left, since these are the courses that you will be doing in India. So please do keep an eye on our website because this program will be launched very soon. And if you have any questions about that, admissions, etc., of course, we remain to your availability. I don't see other questions. I will be replying to one very soon over chat. And I think that's pretty much it. Would you like to add anything, Paul, Adam?
Well, I would just like to express again the appreciation from Madden, Shawnee State University, for everyone joining us this evening.
I'm so sorry, we are not able to hear you properly.
Sorry, I'll come closer to the microphone.
No problem.
Paul Madden. I just wanted to express my appreciation once again for this opportunity and for everyone joining us this evening. And we really appreciate your questions. Shawnee State is a very special place to study. We build strong relationships here with all of our students, and we extremely appreciate the opportunity to meet different people from different places that add to the richness of our community. So I hope that if anyone does have specific questions, please feel comfortable reaching out to any of us, and we would love an opportunity to talk with anyone individually about specific opportunities or specific questions that might not have been able to get answered in today's session.
Yes, thank you so much. We hope this session was useful to you. Of course, if you have any questions, please do reach out to us. Today's topic about STEM, we covered a lot, from engineering to data science and a lot more. We can see a lot of commonalities. Of course, these are different fields. There are different fields in their own, on their own, but we can see a lot of commonalities, which is why we discussed them in one session. But of course, there might be some questions, specific questions that you have about certain courses or modules. So if you have those, please do stay in touch with us. We would be more than happy to answer your questions. Or if you have any other queries, of course, we are available. So I would like to thank Shawnee State University, Ryan, Paul, Adam, for your great contribution during this session. And of course, a big thank you to the participants for joining and for being so interactive. And I wish you a good evening, and Shawnee State University, have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.